Great. All right. Looks like everything's working. Well, look, thanks for your time. My name is Ken Shaw. I'm CEO of SOS Online Backup. I'm joined here with Shaylin Herrick, our Head of Director of Business Marketing. We're also going to have Jeff McCauley, our VP of Sales, in here, and John Wagner, our Chief Sales Engineer. So what we're going to cover today is SOS as a company, the online backup industry, and then most specifically the SOS product line and the SOS partner program. The goal of which is really to give you all sort of a very informed view of what it looks like to dive into selling cloud-based backup or online backup to both small businesses and enterprises using our platform. We've got a relatively small audience this morning, which is actually a great opportunity to have a very interactive discussion. So we've already, a bunch of you have already used the questions feature of GoToWebinar to let me know that the AV is working. So what I'd ask is, if we can make this session as interactive as possible so we can really answer your specific questions. So Alex, Abhik, David, Martin, Sergio, Mitch, Matthew, if you all want to start, if you want to identify the key things you'd like to get out of today's webinar, we can really tailor the webinar to you all and really have an interactive dialogue. We can't open up the bridge so that we can all talk, unfortunately. That produces quite a bit of cross-chatter. But we can have the next best thing, which is if you ask questions, we'll answer them in real time and really try and make sure we take the presentation to the areas that you're most interested in. Remember also at the end of the webinar, we'll be giving away the promotion code for the Kindle giveaway, so stick around for the end of that. And then, so the format of the webinar is going to be a little industry overview from me, then we'll talk specifically about the technology features and the partner program elements. Then we'll go into a technology demonstration that John Wagner is going to be running for us. And we've already got some requests coming in, which is fantastic. So Alex would like to hear more about partner product training. Alex, you're definitely going to hear about that in sort of the first half of the webinar. Sergio would like to know about backup for mobile workers. It's very important for Sergio's customers. Sergio, we're definitely going to be covering that as well. So any other requests for topics for us to talk about, just type them in right now. Oh, Abhik wants to know about OEM opportunities for partners. Okay, Abhik, we've got quite a large OEM program. So that's the sort of thing where actually if you want to type your question more specifically, I can talk to it because that probably won't be covered in the presentation. Martin wants to talk about competitive pricing. We're going to see that on one of these slides sort of in the middle of the deck. John wants to know about the ability to convert backups to VM images. John, we're going to see that in the product demo that our John is going to run. So that's definitely going to be covered. So keep those suggestions coming and requests and specific questions coming. Don't be shy. And with that, we'll dive into the sort of guts of the presentation. We'll do a fly by the industry, sort of just an industry overview. Request here from Raul. I'll be going to have a copy of the presentation after the event. Raul, you'll get an email with a link to a video of it. And you can call in and talk to any of the partner specialists and they can give you the actual presentation itself. Matthew, all of those questions are going to be answered. We're definitely a great alternative to Barracuda, better functionality and a lot cheaper for you, a lot better margin for you as a reseller as well. Mitch wants to know how he can use SOS without having to make a big upfront investment. Mitch, we've got some great monthly programs that you'll be interested in. All right, but so keep the questions coming. I'm going to pivot to the deck for a little bit. Webinar is being recorded, and you will get an email with a link to the video. So if we talk about online backup, that phrase has been around for a long time: remote backup, cloud storage, cloud backup, remote disaster recovery, business, BDR solutions. Excuse me, a lot of names for the same thing. What are we talking about? We're really talking about killing tape as the primary backup mechanism that the world uses. And still today, tape's got more than a 70% market share, which is pretty staggering given that it's 2012 and not 1982. So what we are seeing in the market now is an accelerating shift from people using on-premises backup technology, primarily tape and disk, and moving to fully automated cloud-based solutions where the dream for a cloud-based backup solution is all of your endpoints. That's laptops, iPads, Androids, servers. All of them run a piece of technology, specifically SOS backup technology. They all pump data up to the cloud over encrypted secure connections, and you can do that through one web-based dashboard or one single pane of glass. And that's what SOS does. We give you technology that covers any endpoint you can think of, from Mac to PC, laptops or workstations, servers, whether they're file servers, database servers, or email servers, even mobile endpoints like iPads and Android devices. And we're going to back all of those up using the SOS sort of SaaS, software as a service backup account structure, and let you manage them centrally. Along the way, as resellers, we're going to help you make 50% margin on doing that. So we've got a very, very generous partner program for us as a company. The channel, all our partners are sort of, they're a primary part of the market. They're the main reason SOS as a company exists. And so our partner program, you'll find, is probably the richest and certainly the most generous in terms of revenue share out there. Moving on to this slide, this sort of speaks to the trend that I was just discussing. So it's a bit of a nerdy slide, but just to give you some statistics, the current online backup market, is, according to IDC, is about $2 billion a year. I think that's actually a little bit overstated for where the market is currently. Last year, $1.7 billion. And that estimate from IDC is for the spend this year in 2012. But the most important thing to see in this slide is the shift in emphasis from the blue, which is consumer and micro business dollars being spent, to the red, which is small business, small enterprise, and large enterprise spending money on backup. And there is a big shift happening right now. So this same survey from IDC, and this actually comes from a really great white paper that you can, if you talk to our partner specialists, you can request the IDC white paper from the webinar, and you don't know what you're talking about. The IDC white paper code is down here, 224265. But the highlights of this study shows that you've got roughly 16% of small business America currently deploying cloud backup solutions. 79% of small business America respond saying they intend to deploy cloud backup solutions in the next 24 to 36 months. That nets out to a pretty staggering market opportunity for you all. Certainly we as a company have been experiencing rampant growth over the last few years. Our growth comes from people like you, so we're only successful if you're successful. Our mission in life is to arm you with the tools, both software on the software side and the sales side, to capture this accelerating red part of this graph, as well as the blue. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of room in the market for consumer-based online backup solutions, but the average sales price and the margin that can be earned from selling to businesses is really quite exciting, and we're seeing the B2B side of this market really exploding. So what's driving that? In a nutshell, a better backup at a better price. So if you deploy the SOS ServerSave solution, and that might be backing up a file server, backing up 50 workstations, backing up an email server, all to the cloud. That sort of setup using software from traditional backup vendors like EMC with their Legato line, the Dance Retrospect line, or from Symantec with the Backup Exec line. It's going to run your clients between $5,000 and $10,000 a year to run that. That's both physical infrastructure that needs to be run, software licenses, and then, of course, human time and energy involved in, particularly if it's tape, rotating tapes, checking tapes, taking them off-site. The other dark reality of backup is we all know it just doesn't get done. So although nominally with those solutions you can get the same sort of quality of backup service you can with cloud backup, that's rubbish, because in reality these solutions get deployed, they don't often get managed properly, they get neglected, and so you end up spending quite a lot of money and not getting a very high degree of data protection. Quick field survey for all of you. How many of you have had to spend a few days rebuilding your own data environment or rebuilding a customer's environment from disk or tape? So how many of you have actually experienced that pain? Don't be shy. David says yes. Alex has been there, exclamation mark. Mitch says he has. Martin and John have. John says tape really sucks. Right, so we all understand the pain associated with these legacy backup technologies, right? Massive productivity losses for you in your business, massive productivity losses for your customer. And here's the flip side of that. How many of you, after rebuilding that environment, have had your customer, whether that be somebody in your company or your actual client, high-five you and say, good job, it took you 3 days to rebuild that environment, right? I'm guessing that's none of you. So traditional backup technology costs a lot of money, provides really imperfect levels of backup service, and at the end of the day, doesn't earn, John says never, it's never fast enough, right? So never earns you a whole lot of love from your client, whether that client's an internal business customer or an external customer. So in online backup, we're trying to change all that. What we want to do is we want to Have a backup product that allows you to get back up and running in hours, not days. Have a product that costs 20 or 30% of the cost to run compared to legacy technologies. Have a product that just runs itself and alerts you if there's a problem, so it can truly be set and forget. And for those of you who are here primarily to resell backup as a service, can earn you 50% margin share. Another sort of pop survey for all of y'all, how many of you are earning 50% margin on your backup services that you've traditionally sold? If you sell a $10,000 tape-based backup solution to a client, how many of you have been earning $5,000 on that? Right? I'd be willing to bet $100 that none of you have been earning that kind of margin on backup, because backup's traditionally been a cost center. It's been a cost center for your clients and a cost center for you in your business. We want to set out to change a lot of those preconceptions about backup. So what's the promise of sort of the new future of backup technology? Well, it's cheap, it's fast, it has a low management obligation from you or for your clients, and it can be a very, very profitable service that drives recurring revenue. So it's quite a sea change in the market. There's also conceptions that online backup can't do things like Exchange backup or SQL Server backup or Exchange recovery. But what you're going to see in the product demo in about 30 minutes is that that's really not the case. We can do everything, anything you can do with Backup Exec with all of their server-based plugins and their cloud plugins, you can do with SOS Online Backup for about 30% of the price. So let's go through and actually look at some of the specifics of that. So we're going to look at the actual partner program. And again, you can sort of, the amount of time I'll spend on a topic depends on how many questions I get. So if you've got a lot of questions about the partner program, now's the time to ask me the questions. Otherwise, I'm going to zoom through this stuff. So Alex really, really, really hates Backup Exec, really. Exclamation point. Well, Alex, you're going to like, I think you're going to like the product demo you see. So stepping back and looking at the partner program, we call it the 360-degree partner program. Why do we do that? Because we've tried to take a business and put it in a box for you. So yes, you get some product and some technology which we reskin for you, so you've got a software solution. But we also give you website templates. We give you the CMS so you can update that website. We give you integrated billing so we can set up billing for you if you're not e-commerce enabled. We then give you detailed trainings. There were questions about trainings before. We run training webinars not unlike this, but with a much smaller class size every single day. There's then one-on-one trainings that you can participate in, and there's a dedicated American-based partner support hotline that you can call and talk with American staff here in Los Angeles for training purposes or support purposes. They're then backed up by a 24/7 support team in India. So extensive training being delivered out of here in America with first-line support available for you guys. And then a lot of other sales and marketing tools and materials. So we have what we call the Partner Resource Center, which is basically just a library of marketing and sales resources. John says, your accent is an LA accent. John, a little further west, mate. I'm Australian. So the business in a box is meant to give you everything you need to run a managed backup service business. John says he knew that. Okay. So here we've got some of the elements. So partner support, what this is saying, 8x5 here, this is 8x5 out of America. We've then got 24/7 out of India in addition to that. Fully rebranded software, marketing materials, sales materials, website templates, hosted billing, no hardware required. We run the cloud for you. So some people get confused with this because some of our competitors, like a Seeger, they'll give you the software, but you have to go and set up the data centers. We think, that's an antiquated model, right? So we run the cloud for you. We've got 8 data centers around the world. We've got 11 data centers around the world, 8 of them primary customer data holding facilities. Data centers, the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, India, and Eastern Europe, into Ukraine. Backup support, SQL, we'll get into the technology in a bit. But if we just step back and look at some of the other players in the market, there's questions about competitive pricing. We look at cost per gigabyte per year as a key cost metric in this space. And the other thing we look at is cost per server per month. So if you look across the major vendors, and I'd love anybody who's interested to throw up names of other vendors that they think have suitable solutions for them, because these are really, the vendors here on screen are really the ones that we think you should be looking at. some people come to these webinars thinking that Mozy is an appropriate alternative solution for them. They're really not. They're a terrible partner program, and it's really not a B2B backup solution. I've got some others coming in here, Barracuda, Vembu, CrashPlan. Let's take Barracuda as an example. They're very similar to the Asigra model where you've actually got to, well, actually they're more similar to the Zenith Infotech model that's not on this slide, where you actually have to purchase an appliance to sit on site, which is very expensive. So you've got like $5,000 cost of entry before you then get the cost of running the cloud. At SOS, we're charging 11 cents per gigabyte per month, which nets out to about $1 per gigabyte per year. Yeah, there's slightly different pricing plans. But this is one of the lowest, I think the lowest wholesale costs you're going to get in the industry. So we're running the cloud for you. No need to set up your own data centers.
And also the most complete solution for a reseller. Like a lot of these guys may identify several different features that are in the plan, but they all cost different little bits of money. It's, $5 per month here, $15 per month here. It's not all inclusive. This program, everything that we've talked about, especially on this slide and previous slide, is all inclusive.
Right. So, and just looking at some of the specifics of that. So things like rebranded sales material. Sometimes they're included with other vendors, usually not to this degree of richness that we've got. Website templates, customizable website templates, we're the only ones providing that. Integrated e-commerce and online billing, we're the only ones provided that. The cost per managed gigabyte in the cloud, again, we can't be beaten. Got another question here from Abik. Does your solution basically require a box to sit on the customer site that talks to your cloud, or can backups happen without the box? Barracuda, for example, has their customers back up to an appliance and then to the cloud. So we don't. We can go straight to the cloud, and that's important for everyone to understand. Alternatively, you can route it through an on-site appliance. Sergio wants to know about the restore functionality, any virtual cloud live solution. So Sergio, we've got a service offering called Cloud Boot that allows us to mount and run a virtual machine in our environment for you if you have a complete site failure, and John can talk more about that. That's an ad hoc service that we offer. I'm going to move on. We can see the audience attentiveness has dropped way down, so I think we may have lost some people's attention. Let's keep driving on and actually talk about the product. So holistically, this slide really depicts how SOS tackles product development. What we're trying to do is provide you with one solution that can back up any endpoint. We've already covered this, but we've got a solution that will let you back up desktops, laptops, which is PC and Mac, and workstations, a mobile solution, so backing up iPhone and Android, and then really over in B2B land, backing up file servers, either with file folder backup to the cloud or bare metal backup to the cloud, which then enables the service offering of Cloud Boot. Application data, so SQL Server backup, Microsoft Exchange Server backup, SharePoint Server backup and recovery, and then full system state data, so bare metal backup and recovery either locally or to the cloud. And John's going to demo all of that. The product suite looks like this. So this is what you'd be selling to your customers. You've got, I'm going to start here, Online Backup and Recovery Manager. This is the core cloud-based backup and recovery engine. This is what you're going to be using everywhere. So to the question earlier from a big, this can go straight from an endpoint to the cloud, or it can run its backups through a staging environment. So you could have an on-prem staging environment and back up laptops to that, then from that to the cloud, or you could go straight from those endpoints to the cloud directly. Workstation backup, this is just a fully branded version of the same technology, so this is important for partners who are doing sort of retail consumer sales. Bare Metal Image Creator, this is the bare metal backup tool that we use. We've got a strong partnership we formed with Shadow Protect, so this overall solution we think is probably the strongest backup and BDR